The sun rose gently over the sprawling estate of David and Linda Adewale, casting golden light through the expansive windows of their home. It was a house that whispered success, a testament to years of hard work, sacrifice, and love. Nestled within the gated community of Rosewood Heights, it stood as an emblem of everything they had built together: stability, prosperity, and family. David Adewale, at 45, was a man who commanded respect wherever he went. As the founder of Adex Tech Solutions, one of the fastest-growing tech companies in Nigeria, his name carried weight in both corporate circles and social spheres. To many, he was the epitome of ambition fulfilled, a self-made entrepreneur whose journey from modest beginnings to boardroom dominance inspired countless others. But to those closest to him, David was simply Dad, the loving father who always made time for his children despite his demanding schedule. His wife, Linda, complemented him perfectly. A respected school principal, known for her unwavering dedication to education, she radiated warmth and intelligence. Together, they were a power couple, admired by friends and colleagues alike. Their two children, Daniel, 19, and Sandra, 17, completed the picture-perfect tableau. Daniel, tall and athletic, excelled in sports while maintaining excellent grades. Sandra, with her sharp mind and creative flair, was already making waves in art competitions across the city. They seemed like the quintessential family, loving, supportive, and deeply connected. On this particular morning, David sat at the dining table, sipping coffee, as Linda prepared breakfast. Daniel shuffled into the room, still groggy from staying up late studying for exams, while Sandra bounded down the stairs, humming a cheerful tune. For David, moments like these felt sacred. He often reflected on how fortunate he was to have such a wonderful life, a life filled with love and purpose. But beneath the surface of this idyllic existence lay cracks too small to notice. Or so it seemed. It started innocuously enough. During a routine medical checkup, Daniel's blood type came up as AB positive. At first, David didn't think much of it. Blood types weren't something most people paid attention to, unless absolutely necessary. However, when the doctor casually mentioned that neither David nor Linda shared the same blood type, curiosity stirred in the back of his mind. Could just be coincidence, David muttered under his breath as he drove home after picking up Daniel from the clinic. Still, the seed of doubt had been planted. That evening, during dinner, he broached the subject lightly. "So, kiddo," David said, addressing Daniel with a playful grin. "Looks like you might be an alien or something. Your blood type doesn't match ours." Daniel laughed nervously, but quickly dismissed it. "Maybe Mom and Dad are aliens then," Linda chimed in, her voice steady but tinged with unease. "Don't worry about it, David. These things happen sometimes. It's not unusual for families to have different blood types." Her words should have reassured him, but instead they only deepened his unease. Why did she seem so eager to brush it off? And why hadn't she mentioned this before? Over the next few days, David found himself unable to shake off the nagging suspicion that there was more to the story than met the eye. Paranoia crept in slowly, gnawing away at David's confidence. What if there was some mistake in the records? Or what if... No, he refused to entertain that thought. Yet the idea lingered, festering in the recesses of his mind. If Daniel wasn't biologically his son, what about Sandra? One night, unable to sleep, David pulled out his laptop and began researching. Hours later, bleary-eyed and consumed by morbid curiosity, he ordered a discreet DNA testing kit online. When it arrived, he carefully collected samples from both Daniel and Sandra without raising suspicion. Then, with trembling hands, he sent them off to the lab. Waiting for the results became an exercise in torture. Each passing day brought fresh waves of anxiety, each smile exchanged between him and Linda feeling heavier, more forced. By the time the envelope containing the test results arrived, David felt as though he were carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. He opened it alone, late at night, in the privacy of his study. The report confirmed his worst fears. Neither Danielle nor Sandra was biologically his child. For a moment, the room spun around him. His vision blurred, and his heart pounded wildly in his chest. He sank into his chair, clutching the paper as though it were a lifeline. How could this be? How long had this deception gone on? And most importantly, why? In the quiet solitude of his bathroom, David stared at his reflection in the mirror. The man looking back at him seemed older, wearier than he remembered. Lines etched deep into his face, betraying the turmoil brewing inside him. "What have I been living for?" he whispered, his voice barely audible above the sound of his own breathing. The question hung heavy in the air, unanswered yet deafening. For 20 years he had poured his heart and soul into raising these children, believing them to be his own. Every soccer game attended, every art exhibition visited, every proud milestone celebrated, all built on a foundation of lies. Who was he now? Was any part of his life real, or had it all been a carefully constructed illusion? As he turned off the light and climbed into bed beside Linda, David resolved to confront her. Not tonight, perhaps not even tomorrow, but soon. The truth demanded to be unearthed, no matter how painful it might be. In the meantime, he would play along, pretending ignorance, buying himself time to gather his thoughts and prepare for whatever storm awaited. Little did he know, the secrets buried in his perfect little world ran far deeper than he imagined. This was merely the beginning of a journey that would test the limits of his sanity, his marriage, and ultimately, his humanity.